Now, as part of our current sermon series, Doing Life with One Another, we've been doing something that we call the 5-minute State of the Union or State of the Church address. So this is basically me talking for a couple of minutes about kind of a bigger thing that's going on in the life of the church. And so each week we've picked a different topic to talk about. So today I just wanted to catch you up a little bit on what some of you may not even be aware of, which is that we have been praying about and pursuing the possibility of releasing our church facility here at Belmont. So this started about a year or so ago, and it happened in a variety of ways. For all of us, at some point in our lives, we've probably had to go through a season where we had to release a family home or piece of property. I know for me, it was my grandparents' house in Morehead City, North Carolina. Love that house. Spent tons of time there when I was growing up as a kid. Tons of memories there. But there came a point in time where we had to say, you know what, we love this place, but what we love more are the people that represent that place. And so we couldn't keep it up anymore. Nobody was traveling down there, and so eventually we had to sell it and let it go. And that was hurtful, but we knew it was the right thing to do. In the same way, we've been sensing the Lord calling us through prayer and just also through wisdom to say, we think it's time to release this facility so that we can position ourselves as a church family to be more effective in reaching our city for Jesus Christ. And so there's several factors for that. Just practically speaking, beyond the fact that we really do feel like this is something that's from the Lord, for one, we had a vote back in February of this year, and we had 100% unanimity on everybody voting that was a member to say, you know what, we need to pursue this. We need to explore this more. I was dumbfounded by that because I was expecting at least a few like devil's advocate type votes to go, nah, we shouldn't do it. So to have 100% of the people say, yeah, this is definitely something we should pursue, that to me was confirmation that we were going down the right path. All of our leaders are on board with this process as well. One of the practical reasons that we've considering the sale of this facility is because of the amount of space. This is 50,000 square foot. I know that many of you have never been through this entire building. That's because you didn't have 2 days free to walk through it. But 50,000 square feet is a lot of space. And not only that, but a lot of the space is just really unusable in today's standards. It's just really hard to get to, or it's kind of dilapidated, been water leaks, or it's just hard to access. Rooms are small, things like that. And so it's really something that it's really too much space for our church family. And because of that, it also requires a lot of time and finances to upkeep it. So just owning the building, even if we didn't meet here, it's a very significant amount of money every year that we're spending just for the insurance and the upkeep and the utilities and the maintenance contracts for things like the elevator and the air conditioned units and things like that. And so we are responsible for maintaining the property, and we want to do a really good job at that. And we are really grateful to Jim Howell and the property team for the work that they do around here to make that happen. But we really want to position ourselves to reach the next generation. And we don't want to just hold on to a space like this and then turn to our kids in a few years and be like, here, you do something with it. And so that's another reason. Another reason, just as people in the community come by this building, we want to do whatever it takes to be good at the mission that God has called us to. And we know that as people walk by this space and they look up, especially in our immediate neighborhood, Southeast Roanoke, it can be a bit intimidating. People have shared that with us when they walk by and they see this beautiful building that God has blessed us with. We appreciate it so much. But it can feel like, man, I got to wear a suit and tie if I go in that place, or I got to get my life all cleaned up before I walk into this. Or we've had people say, man, if I walked into that building, lightning would strike me, right? Or if I walked in, I've heard this one too, man, if I walked in that building, the whole building would fall down on me. And so we believe that something that's smaller and more multi-purpose would make more sense for us, and we'd be better stewards of the money that God has blessed us with For instance, we have a very beautiful sanctuary. You could argue the most beautiful sanctuary in Roanoke. But it gets used for about 2 hours per week because, these pews are immovable. The floor here is actually sloped. So it makes a wonderful sanctuary, but it's a lot of square footage that can't really be used any other way. And so we're praying that God would provide us something that would be more multi-purpose, that we could get more mileage out of during the week, that's a little bit more modern so that we're not spending so much time and money in upkeeping it. And so that it would be an easier access point for people in the community to go, oh, yeah, that place does not seem so intimidating. I can go there, be a part of that church family. And we think that would be actually helpful in us accomplishing our mission, plus being able to spend more of our time with people versus on a place. Am I making sense so far? So, and also, our community groups during the week are going really well. So many of you that are here plus online are part of those community. I think we have more people in community groups than we have here this morning. And so, and that's true. But those are going great. And so we're using people's homes to really accomplish the mission, plus even online as well. And so the amount of space that we need is not as much. So where are we at in the process? Well, the church voted back in February to move forward with pursuing that. And so we started that by reaching out to local developers because those are the only folks that would want to touch a building of this size. Your average homeowner is not going to buy this place and be like, I'm moving in. Because it would cost $1 million or $2 just to bring this place up to code when it transfers hands because there's no sprinkler system. A lot of the things here are grandfathered in. And so we reached out to those developers. Most of those walked in and about 5 minutes said, we wouldn't take this building if you gave it to us for free. Not because it's not beautiful and wonderful, but because of how much money they would have to spend to convert it into another type of usage and to update it. But there has been one guy here locally, he's a well-known developer with a good reputation in the community, who has continued to be interested in the space. And so we're continuing to have talks with him, and we hope to, in the next 2 weeks, have some kind of an offer from him. Obviously, that's speculation, but when that happens, we'll keep you aware of that, and then there's another long process after that, and eventually the church family would have to vote on whether or not they would finalize the sale. So it's not a done deal or anything. And that could very easily fall through. So we have actually also been talking to a commercial realtor. And so we have not signed on the dotted line with him just yet. We're waiting to see what this developer comes back with us to in the next couple of weeks. But if that does fall through, then we'll get more aggressive with a commercial realtor to let more eyes see that we're doing this, and that even some outside developers that might be interested from different cities, like Richmond, for instance, might be interested in a space like this. And so that is that. Also, this realtor is going to actually help us begin to look and to search for what would be next as far as space goes. So I know some people have questions about that, which obviously is legitimate. We don't feel a great pressure as your leadership. We don't feel a great pressure to find something tomorrow, like what's our backup plan? Because this developer would be willing to rent this sanctuary back to us for a period of time, because historically speaking, with the historic tax credits, he wouldn't really be able to remodel this or turn this into something completely different. And so he'd be interested. So we have backup plans, right? We've met here. We can continue to meet here for a undefined amount of time. We've also have met out at the farm just a few miles up the road. That was a great space. That's available for us to meet there as well. And there's many other empty buildings that we could meet in. And so we're not really super concerned about that, but we are beginning the process of looking and identifying which part of town we might want to be in, which would first and foremost start with where we are now in our zip code and stay here to minister to this community. If nothing was available there and God made something available in that same direction, then we would be willing to branch out a little bit further. So that is what's going on. I'm going to take one or two questions, which normally I wouldn't do so, but you might have a question that everybody else is thinking too. Not what's for lunch. Does anyone have a question, or Jim, maybe something that you think might be good for me to speak to? Everybody's in harmony right now going, no one ask anything. No one ask anything. Yes, sir. How do you convert Fahrenheit to Celsius? We'll get together on One Mind after that, after service. That's a great question. I don't know. You look it up, you Google it, that's how you do it. So, okay, well, that is in general, this process is not secretive, it's really open. So if you ever have any questions along the way, feel free to give me a call, send me an email. We have a team of people that are working on this process. This isn't just Pastor John. It's the elders, so me, Wes Williams, and who else? Just kidding, Bill. Bill's watching online. He's at Myrtle Beach right now. So Bill Olson, and then our property team, Jim Howell, he's on there, and then our treasurer, Rick St. Pierre. So the 5 of us together have been keeping tabs on this process and pushing it forward. And then any decisions that we get ready to make, we bring them to our management team, and we ask for their approval as well. And then from time to time, we do updates like this to keep everybody abreast of what's happening. So that is what's going on with the sale of the facility.